Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We are waiting for a few more attendees. We'll be starting in a minute or so. Good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Well, we don't have a weekend here at Kaplan. We are having classes. We just finished one round of classes, and then the other round of sessions will be starting. And in between, we're having this webinar, and I hope all of you will enjoy and you'll get to learn from the experiences of Jatin. A quick introduction about myself. I'm a trainer at Kaplan. We train across different qualifications, but I'm not going to use the time of this webinar to explain what we do and what all qualifications we offer, because this is a series of webinars we have launched since the last 2 months, where we are trying to reach out to an audience and have discussion over such interesting topics, such hyped up topics. And Jatin was kind enough to find out time for the webinar in the evening. So I'm extremely thankful to him. And I hope all of us will have an opportunity to learn whether this is genuinely an investment opportunity, and is there, like how we buy stocks or cryptos or real estate, is there does timing really matter when it comes to sneakers? Is there a time for us to enter or a time to exit from this trade? So there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff which we will be uh, discussing. Before I go into the discussion points with Jatin, I just want to give a very quick introduction about or an overview of the background of what has happened here. So Adidas had started this marketing campaign by the name Adilicious, where they've identified a dozen of cities, and in each of the city they will be identifying a local food chain and they'll be partnering with it. Now, if you see those cities, they're all from Europe and Far East markets. Dubai is the only city which has been identified from this region, from the Middle East. So you could say it is sort of an achievement for this city, how big this city has become on the global foot map. Uh, then out of all of the millions of restaurants we have in Dubai, Adidas picked up Ravi. Now, there could be a reason behind it. Perhaps Snoop Dogg had once visited Ravi. Maybe that could be a reason. But we all know how old Ravi is. It's the second generation now running it. They've been in the news for good and bad. We've seen recently there was some bad press about their employees not being paid. And in the past, during COVID especially, there was this campaign where they were trying to raise some funds so that they could survive during the COVID crisis. So they've been through a lot of phases within Dubai. They've been through all the economic cycles Dubai has gone through, perhaps as a restaurant, and they've survived. So it seems like it's a very resilient business out there, and it is still surviving. And I hope that they can even capitalize and materialize upon this deal. So thank you again, Jatin, for joining. Now we know
Thanks, Ram.
Adidas. For Adidas, this is not the end. Perhaps I think this is the second or the third collaboration in this series of Adilicious they've had, and
Right.
they are going to be partnering with a couple of more brands in the coming weeks or months. But what's in for Adidas and what's in for Ravi? What's in for people who stand in the queue at 4 in the morning to get their hands on these sneakers, and then they take it to Dubizzle, they make it 20x, 30 times the price. Can you
Like
explain this to us?
so so obviously the whole hype about sneakers over the years has come because of the resale market that exists for it, right? So resale market only is existing because it's there's a scarcity which is being created when these products have come out in the market. The demand is really high but the supply is very low, and that's why a resale market exists for it. It's not that easy to sell in the resale market. Also, you need to be very careful because the chances are that the retailers might block you from blacklist you from buying the shoes when it's a raffle or something like that. So you need to be very careful while you sell them also. And the whole thing is all about marketing, to be honest. In regards to what has happened between Ravi and Adidas, the stocks that were the pairs that were launched over here were like easily accessible for everyone. It was not that difficult to get them, unlike other sneakers. Most of the sneakers, it's very difficult. You need to enter through raffles and you have to stand in queue, like you said, early in the morning in Dubai Mall or things like that. But with Ravi, the concept behind this was, to make it affordable and easily accessible to everyone. Being a Dubai kid, I fell for it too, honestly, because I could relate to this. I felt that there is a need for me to purchase these sneakers also. But again, I didn't do it because there were multiple reasons behind it, because I don't see this sneaker as an investment on an investment side, because I knew that this is just a hype that has been created. You might be seeing this on Dubizzle or somewhere that people are listing it for, let's say, 40,000, 44,000 initially, but that's
Yeah.
all fake. It's not
Yeah.
it's not true. You might be able to list anything on Dubizzle for, let's say, 100,000, but it doesn't mean that someone will come and approach you and buy
Correct.
them, right?
Correct.
So there was a resale market for it, but it wasn't that great like it is being shown out. But again, it's a collaboration between a restaurant and a sneaker brand is not that common. Like you said, this was a campaign that Adidas had come out with called Adilicious, and they collaborated. I read it somewhere that Adidas is doing this with Ravi just so that they could help them come out of debt. And as you know that,
Mm.
they were going through a lot of challenges and everything. But then again, the question comes is that who made the most out of this, right? So
Yeah.
for Ravi, I think it was just a quick solution for them. Like they were getting some money from each pair that was sold to the customers, right? It was not just that Adidas was having the whole money. Certain part of that was going out to Ravi. There were a lot of new customers that Ravi was able to get in the a restaurant. But then again, if you see on a long term perspective, I don't think that those customers will be going back again over there. It was
Mm.
just during the hype that was created for this sneaker.
True.
But on the other side, if you see Adidas marketed it so well. People who never were into the whole sneaker thing were attracted to it because they could relate to it. All the kids in Dubai who've been born and brought up here were able to relate to it because they knew what Ravi is, what Ravi means to them. They've seen it. Probably not going to the restaurant every weekend, but still
Yeah.
they could relate to it. So that's why a lot of people were buying this. And how Adidas made it more accessible is they were having this the retailers were having this whole section in their outlets where Ravi's staff was coming over there giving out food in the stores itself of for example, amongst you, it's a retailer over here. So that's how it was marketed very well. But then again, if you see this was done on a superstar. Superstar is basically one of the categories of an Adidas sneakers, which is
Okay.
a very it's not that premium side of the Adidas shoe. It's a very basic shoe. The reason why they did this was on a superstar was because it's affordable,
Mm.
right? The normal cost of its superstar is, let's say, around somewhere around 350 dirhams, and Adidas was selling the Ravi edition for, let's say, 550 dirhams. A certain part was going to the restaurant, but then again,
Mm.
I'm sure they were making a markup on this. And the reason they did this was to make it affordable for everyone and easily accessible to everyone. So people were lining up probably, but there was no need for them to do so. It was happening at the Ravi restaurant where till evening people were just walking in and they were able to get these. It happened the next day in the Adidas store itself in Dubai Mall. It happened in their official retailers. So it was a very easy pair to get for everyone. But then again, if you ask me who made the most out of this, I would say it is probably Adidas, not Ravi, because it was a quick fix for them,
Mm.
probably to pay certain of their employees and things like that. But again, on a long-term basis, I don't think this will fit. In fact, there was a lot of controversy that went behind this, and Ravi came under a lot of negative controversy. Probably it's
Absolutely.
not
Yeah.
true. Probably they did pay to their employees after this, but
Hmm.
again, a lot of people, have this, after reading it on social media, will probably have this negative feeling about Ravi, that they didn't pay to their employees. We never know what the honest truth is, but then again,
Yeah.
it probably didn't help Ravi that way.
I was actually surprised to read that in one of the local newspapers that for 15 months straight, Ravi did not pay its employees. Now,
Right.
we all work in Dubai. We know we can't survive for more than a month here without our
Exactly.
paycheck. So that's 15 months. How could these people be standing there getting their photos clicked if
Right.
they haven't been paid? The
Exactly.
survival is not possible in this city.
Yeah.
Something interesting which I came across was also that the sneaker industry globally is worth $80 billion. And it is expected in another 10 years to be $100 billion industry.
Right.
The secondary market, although currently is only $1 billion industry, so it's very small when you compare it to the overall size of the industry. So it seems there are a lot of sneaker enthusiasts out there who keep stocking it up,
Correct.
but maybe they don't sell it that often. It's just something like a hobby for them.
Right.
It's a collection.
Correct. So this is somewhat like, this is a passion for me as well. It started off by just buying a sneaker and just going out, and you get complimented by it. So it's just a thing that you feel like, you feel good about it. And having rare sneakers is like a privilege now for me, because not everyone has it, right? It's not so easy for everyone to get it in the, if previously it used to be, you go to a store, you ask them for a size and you'll get it. If it's not there, you walk in, they let you know that you can come within a week and you can get the same shoe. But it's not the case anymore with these sneakers.
Hmm.
If you get it, you get it at the same time, or you can't get it, you have to go to a resale market and then pay a premium for it, maybe 50%, maybe 200% above the retail
Hmm.
price. But again, like I said, for most of the people, it's a passion. And other reason is the official retailers, right? They are trying to put a lot of control to the, because they don't want the resale market to exist, right?
Hmm.
So they are trying to implement a lot of controls. It has become difficult over the time to resell these in the market, by blacklisting the people who they feel, the retailers do their checks before giving out the pairs. Whether when you walk into the store, they'll make sure that you wear the sneaker and you walk out in those
Oh
sneakers
God.
from the store, so that it becomes like a used sneaker and you can't sell them in the market then
Oh.
at the same price. Probably you can sell them at any point of time, but you might not get the value like you would have if you would have just taken a packed pair out of the store. So that's why they make you walk
Hmm.
out of the sneaker by wearing them. They check your sizes thoroughly. If they feel like the size that you have won on a raffle is basically 8.5, but your actual size is 9.5, they might not give you the pair even though you've won it. They have the option to reject to give you those pair. So the retailers are trying to put a lot of control to it. That's because they don't want the resale market to exist. But then again, how much ever they try, they can't stop it. There's always going to be a resale market over here. And there are official resellers over here in Dubai. You might see it in Box Park area. There might be official
Yeah.
stores. The
Hmm.
reason why they're, because they are experienced people. They can look at a sneaker and they can tell whether it's real or fake. They can,
Wow.
check through it and everything. Because I might be selling sneakers online for something, but it might be basically fake. And you might buy it for, let's say, 2,000, 3,000, paying a premium for it, but it's not actually legit. So people
Hmm.
prefer buying it from authorized resellers, because they do the checks behind the shoe and then they can sell it. And you can trust them. You don't mind paying a little more extra to get the legit pair. So that's why, like you said, the resale market is not that big as the retail market, because it is difficult to sell them. I just can't put an ad on Dubizzle and sell them. My name pops up out over there, and the retailers might blacklist me the next time I get a pair.
Gosh. Okay.
So that's why you have these, to avoid all of these. There are these Facebook groups where you need to get an invite only. There are these WhatsApp groups. You need some connections to make the sale done. So
Hmm.
that's why it's difficult. Like
You
I said,
don't
it's
want to be in the public domain where people know, oh,
exactly,
Jatin is selling a pair of
exactly
shoes. You don't
right.
want people to know
I
that
would
way.
never want that. I would never
It
want that.
not only spoils the value of that sneaker or that brand, but it also hurts your value because in future, if you
Exactly.
want to buy more and then trade them
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
future.
Like I could,
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, please
Like I
go
could
on.
always go buy on a resale market, but I would always love to have it on the retail price, right? Because
Mm,
that's the original cost for it. I don't want to pay some a premium behind that. That's why it's very, you feel lucky also to get it through on a retail price, because it's very limited. Some of the pairs are very, very limited, and
mm.
it's very difficult to cop them.
So let's say we have participants right now here on this webinar, and if any one or two of them want to potentially, like let's say they have interest in sneakers, and they want to grab their hands onto one of these pairs, not the Adidas Ravi one, but perhaps something
Yeah.
new coming in. So how will one know that when a new pair of sneakers will be launched? What will be the price, and what's the process?
Right. So there are these, obviously, Instagram, social media, all of these pages, they keep on posting on regular basis what are the new launches that are going to come out in the market. The Nike website or the Adidas website will show you a calendar which shows what are the latest shoes that are going to come out in the market and at what date and what time. And that is when you will be able to enter the raffle. And it's like a
Okay.
lucky draw system. Previously, before COVID, it used to be you need to be physically over there. There used to be a chit system where they used to pull out names, and if your name is there, they would hand it over. But after COVID, things have changed and it's online everything, and you need to enter the raffle online. And if you're lucky enough, you get notified that you've won the pair, and you need to go over there, collect your pair by showing your original Emirates ID so that it's you who's collecting the pairs. So one of the easiest way of getting those is raffles, which, and it's not just the original stores. There are of authorized retailers in the market. Let's say amongst few concept, these brands, these are the official retailers, and they get these products from Nike or Adidas, and they are allowed to sell on to the retail price. So there are a lot of companies over here over the time in Dubai. The hype and the, the fan following behind sneakers has increased. That's why a lot of pairs are also coming over here in the market compared to India, I would say.
Yeah, because I think after US and Europe, perhaps Middle East could be the third emerging,
Right.
yeah, or it could be the top emerging market because there is disposable income, there are changes in lifestyle.
100%. Yeah.
We know Money Kicks is famous for having a collection of very expensive sneakers.
Right.
Um, but I don't know whether that counts towards an individual's net worth or not. I really.
I would consider, because I consider my sneakers as part
So
of
it's
my
it's
net worth.
highly liquid. Is it like highly liquid?
It is. You can go to an official reseller and you can sell them and they would buy it. But you just
Wow.
need to be a little bit careful, probably, that it doesn't get highlighted to the retailers that you are selling these
Correct.
sneakers.
Correct. Correct.
That's the
Yeah.
only tricky part about it by selling these
You've got to
sneakers.
maintain that scarcity element
Exactly.
in it.
Right.
Mm.
Right. And that's the whole game of hype, creating that scarcity. And that's why the prices should boom all of a sudden after the retail prices launch. And again, it's like stock market, I would say. Today, the value of, as soon as there is a retail, stock out, and tomorrow, if I want to sell it, I can get a better price. But if I wait for a while and I go into the market, I might not get that price. Can be vice
Mm.
versa. If I keep holding on to it and I wait for a while of a month or 2 months, it might go even more. So that's about it, because there are relaunches also. So let's say you buy something and the value of it tomorrow is something, and Adidas comes out and say, I'm going to relaunch the same sneakers. The value goes down of the ones that you're holding,
Okay.
because
All
a lot of
right.
more
So they
people
can
have
they
it
can
now.
actually destroy the value of the shoe as
Exactly,
well.
they could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very common that it happens like that.
So let's say, let's assume I'm size 9 and you're size 10, and we both end up buying the same pair of shoes for 549 dirhams.
Right.
But if I try reselling it, will the price be different from yours?
So yes, that is possible. So there are some sizes, for example, let's say 8.5 is a very common size. I am an 8.5, unluckily. So
Okay.
it's very difficult to get an 8.5, and that's why probably the value of 8.5 will be higher compared to other sizes. Next point is that probably a size 11 or 11.5, which are the bigger sizes, right? These bigger sizes, they come out very, very less. The stock for them is very less in the market, and that's why the value for them is very high.
Hmm. So let's say if we go to StockX, you told me this was like a good website. It gives you an indication of what
Right.
potentially could the price be.
Yeah,
Um,
I would
yeah.
always add some markup to the price which are shown over here, because one thing is, like, if I want to buy something from StockX, it might take shipping, it might, take some time to get over here. But if I want
Mhm.
something quick and I want to, because a lot of people, they don't really care of, they don't want to
$150.
wait. Yeah, they don't want to wait. They might probably, want it immediately. And
Mm,
that's
mm.
why,
So could this be a factor that Adidas perhaps made a lot of the 8.5 sizes and the smaller ones, and
yes.
these ones are lesser in quantity, and that's why they are
Yes.
so hiked up in price? Yeah.
Exactly. Because let's say over here, the one of only one person has a 13 size, and he might want to make the most out of it. He might list it for $900. I'm not sure if anyone's gonna buy them, and if someone does, I'll say it's a very bad decision to buy
Mm.
those for $900. But then he might think that he's the only one who's having a US 13 and wants to sell it in the market. So he might list it for, let's say, $900.
So could we say that StockX is like a
Trading
market
platform.
indices for shoes, for sneakers?
Yes, you could say, but there are a lot of
Others, lot of other
local companies
websites.
also sell these. So I would not just rely on StockX always. I will always go back and check in the local website and local
Correct.
resellers.
So more than Dobizzle, people need to
Sorry,
rely on
continue.
these sources. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. No, it's gone again. Sorry.
Now?
Yes, it's better now.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So I'm saying more than Dobizzle, this would be better as an indicator of the price.
100%, because for StockX you can trust on them that they're selling you a legit product. On Dobizzle, I wouldn't trust anyone unless and until you have the knowledge for it, and if you buy it from Dobizzle or you check before buying it, and you can see the shoe and you can tell if it's legit or if it's real, it's not fake, then it's a different story. But on StockX you can't rely, because StockX are one of the good resellers in the market,
Mm.
and they do have their expertise in checking whether these are real shoes or no.
Okay. Will you be kind enough to let us know about, like, what's the worth of the sneaker collection you've got? How much? What was your cost? What is the worth today? And if you can show a pair, maybe this is going to be a treat
Sure.
for all the people who have joined in the evening today.
So I probably, over the, I think probably 3 years to 2.5 years, might have invested somewhere around probably 25,000, 20 to 25,000 over on sneakers. And I think the value that probably will be 35, 40, 45, somewhere around that. Depends again
All
on
in dirhams,
market.
right?
All in dirhams, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So to show you, I'll just show you few collaborations. I'll start with the collaboration that Adidas did with Game of Thrones, a
Oh,
very famous show.
yeah.
And Game of Thrones, I think, did this collaboration with Adidas because they wanted to make the most out of it before exiting the series. And this was launched, I think, during the last few episodes that they were launching in the last season. So I think they wanted to make the most money they could, and that's how they came out with this sneaker with Adidas. And they had done it in a way like they had done it based on the houses. So who might know Game of Thrones, who have watched Game of Thrones, so there was a Stark edition, there was a White Walker edition, which was similar to the way that they used to dress in the show. So the one that I have now is the Stark edition. So you might see the packing over
Oh,
here. It shows Game of Thrones edition. So that's how they promote as well. The packing is always different when there's a collab. It's not like a standard packing. And let me tell you one more thing, that the reason why I keep these boxes is because the value of them is higher when you have the box for them. If I would sell them without the box, probably I might not get as much money as I would have if I have the box. So if you
okay.
see, this is somewhat similar to the way that Starks used to dress in the show. And it shows over here, it says winter is coming over here, which was one of the famous dialogues. And if you see over here, this is the Stark house symbol over here. And yeah,
Nice.
if you see over here, this is the House of Stark symbol over here.
And if you don't mind sharing the cost of this, or what's the value today?
I think I had bought these for somewhere around. So these are the Ultra Boost, one of the better shoes than the Superstars, which was there on the Ravi. So this is the shape for an Ultra Boost. So these are more better than the Superstars. They are more comfortable and they're used for running basically.
Okay.
The value for these was somewhere around, I think 800, 850, somewhere around like that. And I had got two of these at that point of time. I had got the White Walkers edition and I had got the Stark editions. I sold the White Walker editions and I made a profit of, let's say, somewhere around 500 to 600 dirhams on that. And
Nice.
at that point of time, but now if I go take this in the market, I don't think anyone watches game. I don't think anyone is a fan of Game of Thrones anymore. So
Mm.
there's hardly any value for that anymore. It might be sold on a retail price or probably a bit below the retail price, but at that point of time the value was really good when it was going through.
So that at that time was perhaps coinciding with the season finale or the final
Exactly.
season of Game of Thrones, and
Right.
that's the best time to exit.
Exactly, and that was the best time to exit. And I generally have a tip. What I do is I always, so it's not that easy to do that, but I always basically do is I always get two pairs of the same shoe. So if I am able to sell one of them, I basically cover the cost for the ones that I own. So, but again, it's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult to get two of the same pairs. It's not that easy. But if you can, I would suggest that that's a very good option to do so.
That
So
must be your name appearing in the raffles twice then.
yeah, so basically you need to have some, you can't do that. You can't enter a raffle twice. You need some of your friends to help you out with that. So I
Mhm.
probably ask my friends to enter a raffle. Or some of the times what happens, it's like a first come, first serve online as well. So you keep your two laptops on the side, or you keep your phone and a laptop and you keep buying it, you keep trying to it. So you might probably get two pairs out of that. It's not always raffle that you can get these. Sometimes it's online first come, first serve also. So people try their luck on that as well, which is a bit more difficult, I would say, but still works.
So would you say that, would you suggest that instead of trading in these sneakers, I think a prerequisite would be to first be a hobbyist, first have the
100%.
first have the passion towards them, and then it could later become a sort of a business.
100%. But it again depends where you want to head, right? For me, it's more like a passion thing. So I do consider these as my assets, but I don't plan to sell them at any point of time.
Mm.
Currently, that's the mindset that I have. Probably down the years, let's say 10, 15 years, if I get like a crazy value for it, I might probably sell those. So, and some of the sneakers, you need to be very careful what type of sneakers you buy, right? I mean, for example, let's say this Game of Thrones editions, it wasn't the worth for it that I paid. Probably, I'm not sure that if it was the worth, because I hardly have used it, and I can't sell them. But again, I have few pairs that I would like to show, which probably are worth the hype, and I think that they will do very well in the market. So collaborations generally do very, very well in the market. Collaborations with, let's say, fashion brands like Supreme or Gucci, Dior, or LV. These are very expensive to buy also, but they always do amazing in the market. And also collaborations with hip hop artists or any other artist or a basketball player, these generally do well in the market
Like
because they've
Michael
have
Jordan in the
Michael
past.
Jordan, exactly. And so I have two of the ones that I was very lucky to have them was with Travis Scott editions, the Cactus Jack collaboration. So if you see the box, this has written Cactus Jack over here, and this is a Jordan symbol. The box is very big. So, and if you see that I got a bag along with it, which is basically like a travel bag, which has,
Protect your sneakers.
yes, if I want to travel with them. And this is the shoe. If you see, these are
That's a
the
nice.
Jordan, yeah, it's a Jordan 6 and it's high top. Generally people don't prefer, I mean, a normal people don't prefer high top shoes because it's very difficult to carry them, but still some sneaker lovers would love to have them. If you see, they have a zip over here, like pocket kind of thing. So this was one of the pairs which have done very well in the market. I think it was launched for 1,200 dirhams, 1,200 or something like that. And I think the resale value for them right now is somewhere around 2000 dirhams to 2200, somewhere around that. But then again, like I said, this was a high top sneaker, so it is a good sneaker for a long term investment. But I have one of the Travis Scott's, which is the fragment. So if you see, the packing for each one of them is different. So
It's different,
if
yeah.
it's completely different, so they gave this with a plastic cover on top of it. And this is my favorite pair and the most valued pair that I have, honestly. And I was very lucky to have them. So this one was the fragment, and it came with three kinds of laces, so you can change the laces as well on what you wear. And the laces, the material of the laces is very different than the normal laces. It's not like that. So I've kept it pink for now. So these are the fragment. If you see, there's a Cactus Jack logo behind it, and it's a very beautiful looking pair. A lot of people could carry it very well. It's a Jordan low, a Jordan 1 low, so you can wear it on, let's say, jeans or shorts or anything, and people find it very easy to carry this. And that's one of the reasons probably the value of this is so high. I had got these for somewhere around probably uh 750, 800, somewhere around in those range, and the value for these right now will be somewhere around 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, somewhere around that. So
Nice.
you can, yeah, you can imagine the markup. I mean, you can imagine the percentage on that. And
Obviously.
yeah, and I predict this can go really high in the future as well.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm sure the people who are attending this webinar are enjoying and getting to learn that there's
Yeah,
timing to all investments, and knowing
exactly.
what is there for long term and what is there for short term, and perhaps collaborations with celebrities, as you mentioned, could be more
Right.
valuable than celebrities with businesses or restaurants or food or brands, because celebrities are there for a little longer, they have a more fan following, and that
Yes,
perhaps drives up the value of that brand.
exactly.
But this question might come out as a funny one, but let's say if you love these sneakers, you end up wearing them, you're walking, and it starts to rain, it affects your sneakers. Will that affect the value of your sneakers? Like how do you do it then?
It does. So like I said, like I've been keeping the boxes as well. So the boxes value, having the box also gives a lot of difference to the value. So you can imagine, if you don't maintain them or you don't take care of them, I basically, I've used this one only just once. The pair that I showed you just now, the Travis Scott fragment, I've just used it once, and I've given it for cleaning immediately the day that I wore it, and I've used Crep Protect over it. So if anything falls off on it, it doesn't, spoil it. So obviously it does have a value, but again, no matter how bad the condition is, you can probably get it clean, and it might make a difference to the look of it. But then again, people are able to figure out that this is a used pair, and and the value would obviously decrease because of that. But pairs like these, they will still always have a value. That's what I believe, no matter how
Nice.
the condition is. But you always need to maintain your pairs. That's one of the things. You can't, you need to be careful before creasing it, because when you walk, there'll be creases on the shoe, which reduces the value of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are the things. That's why for me it's not that difficult, because I have a lot of pairs. I Every time I walk out, I probably walk out with a different pair, so I don't use one pair much often. And that's how I keep maintaining it as well. And I get them cleaned very often. I keep them maintained, so that if anytime in case I have to sell them and get out of this, and I probably can do that easily.
I think when people meet you, the first thing they see is your sneakers. Perhaps which one are you wearing this
that's
time?
that's the trend that has changed over the years. I would say every time I walk out, I see someone outside in a club or somewhere outside, I first notice the sneakers that the person is wearing. Previously this used to be what he or she used to wear and things like that, but now I think the trend has completely changed. The first thing that people notice is, what kind of sneakers are you wearing? Is it different, and is it very rare? and that's how a lot of people start their conversations outside us as well.
Yeah.
So we have this, generally there are these, events and everything for sneakers, and people come over there, and they interact with each other, and they share their contacts and make new connections. It's a different world altogether, I would say.
Wow, amazing. I've learned a lot from you, Jatin. This is very interesting, and perhaps this helps people like me to give more examples in our classroom of different sort of businesses and products. And I'm hoping that people who have attended the webinar tonight, or people who will be watching the recordings later, there'll be something or the other for them to learn and pick out from this, and know basically what's happening around us. I think it's not necessary
Right.
for us to invest into everything where whatever glitters or wherever you can make money. It
Exactly.
has to be something which you're passionate about first, and then naturally the knowledge comes. You do your research, you figure out what's the best way to invest into it. Should I be holding on to it, or sell it immediately after some time? But this all comes with research. So, well,
And
that could be a
experience.
disclaimer
Yeah.
as well for people who are attending this, that you don't really have to buy a sneaker straight after this webinar. But
Yeah.
this is more like an informative webinar where you can learn that there are so many investment opportunities out there. You just need to do your research and know what you're good at.
Right.
Any questions? If anybody's got any questions, you can put it in the chat section. We'll be more than happy to answer. Or you can also let us know about what do you think about the knowledge which has been shared by Jatin. We'll give our participants some time. I think with the Middle East market, we will see some more collaborations, maybe some more local brands, more local affiliations in the future. I think Ravi is just the beginning.
For sure, I feel so, but I'm not so sure, because I think the collaborations with artists and everything do very well in the market, and the brands make more money out of it. Probably
Mm.
fashion brands like, let's say, Off-White or Gucci or Dior and all of these brands, the you can't even imagine the amount of money that people are ready to pay for it to get it in the resale market. I mean, there was a launch between Nike and Dior, which I wish I could have as a pair, but I was very unlucky and I didn't have it. The value for that is probably somewhere around 40,000 dirhams right now. And I think at that point of time, where there was a time where I think I was able to get it in the resale market for 20,000, and I felt that it's too expensive, it might fall, but it never did. The value of it is somewhere around more than that right now. So yeah, that's about it. But I would not say that you should go and start investing immediately into all of these things without research and knowing about it, because I've burnt a lot of cash and made a lot of mistakes, and that's how I've learned over it. I
That's how
have
we all
pairs.
learn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have pairs with me. I have 2 3 pairs with me which I'm not able to sell them. I'm not able to use them, because I thought they would do well in the market, but it never did. So I've wasted a lot of money as well, but I've learned from it. And that's how over the time I've got better to it.
So basically, scarcity is the name of the game, but we will never know how many units are out there. We won't know.
No, it's very difficult to know that. If you have contacts with the authorized retailers and everything, you might able to get some information out of them, but
Well,
you
we'll
would
rely on
never
you
know.
now. Yeah, we'll probably rely
No,
on
I
you.
don't want to get blacklisted. I want some more pairs.
But thank you very much, guys. One last thing. We are launching 2 new programs, ICAW and FRM, in the coming few weeks. In addition to the other qualifications which you might be aware we already offer, such as ACCA, CMA, and CFA. Like I said earlier, these webinars are to go beyond what we do in the classroom. It's to make it more informative, interesting, to keep all of us, ourselves, updated. um, just a little of heads up, in the coming 2 weeks, you will see that somewhere mid of August, we will be also hosting a webinar with a real estate crowdfunding company here. And we will be asking some questions. We'll try to understand how the business works. Recently, they were in the news. They started investing into properties 2 years ago, and they recently exited one of their properties at more than 40% profit. And it was all over the news. They were kind enough to give us some time, and we want to reach out to as many people as possible and keep them informed with all the different investment opportunities, money making opportunities, or even learning opportunities we have out there in the market. Sometimes we are not aware of it, sometimes we think it's not reliable. But I think when people like Jatin, when experts or people who are passionate about it, when they come out and they tell us the real story, so how this entire thing works, and it's not like everybody's making money in it, you've got to be very careful, then it becomes easier to process the information and make wise decisions. So if there's anything else, you can get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to help you out. With this, we come to the end of the webinar. Thank you everybody for joining us, and goodbye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jatin, for your time. Goodbye.
Bye.